Hi, everybody. This is Alazar, a peer recovery coach with Great Lakes Recovery Centers serving Marquette County. I'm also a person in long term recovery, and for me, that means that I have been drug and alcohol free for a little over 17 years. Today, I wanted to share something with you folks that has been really significant in my own recovery, and I thought that probably the best way to do that would be to share a story with you folks. This is something that happened when I was pretty early in my recovery. I had a pretty mild disagreement with my spouse at home. I don't remember at this point what that was about, but I know it wasn't anything real serious, pretty minor. However, it was enough that when I left the house, I was in what I like to refer to as a pretty high state of festivity. So I left the house and I'm driving, and I caught myself thinking things like, good Lord, your grass is knee high. Why don't you get off your lazy butt and get out here and cut this? What's your problem? And down the street a little bit, your paint's peeling off your house. It's, you can see it in the driveway and on your lawn. This isn't the inner city. This is Magnetic Street. Why don't you take a little pride in your home and in yourself and get out here and take care of this mess? And then I asked myself, what are you doing? Like, you're actively looking for reasons to feel more upset. Why are you doing this? And it really dawned on me that I had spent a lot of my time over the course of my lifetime actively looking for reasons to feel negative things, to feel scared, to feel angry, to feel anxious, to feel disgusted, without really realizing it. I mean, that was kind of my default setting. And so I decided to try something different. And that was, I'm going to drive back up to the top of this street and come back down this same couple of blocks that I just drove down, forcing myself to look for reasons to feel positive. And to be honest, I felt silly, and I thought I'll probably never ever tell anybody about this, but I decided to do it. So back down Magnetic Street I go for the second time, and I've decided I'm going to look for some reasons to feel positive. The first thing I noticed was a big flower bed in front of a home, and I'm not into flowers. They're not my thing. I'm not anti-flower, but just not something that I'm really into. But I know that a lot of people really enjoy flowers. My grandmother used to go on these garden tours with her sister-in-law. They'd go from house to house looking at the flower gardens and really seemed to enjoy and appreciate that. So I'm thinking, okay, I bet when people pass by and they see this big flower bed, a lot of folks enjoy that, appreciate it. It makes them feel good. I bet the person or persons who live here that, spent the time, energy, and effort to plant these flowers probably really enjoy seeing them and taking care of them. And I thought, that's not negative for sure. That's a positive thing, I guess. The next thing that caught my eye was a Pontiac Firebird. I believe it was a 1968, maybe 1969, and it was sitting in a guy's driveway. When I first noticed that car, quite some time before that, it was in pretty rough shape. But I had seen the guy that lived there and his teenage son working on that car, in the evening when I drove by, and I thought, man, what a cool project for a father and son to work on together. I thought about all of the time that they spent together working on the car, and I thought, wow, what a cool end result. They have this really nice muscle car to enjoy together. That is awesome. A little bit further down the street, I saw an older gentleman throwing a baseball with a kid, just back and forth. They had their mitts on, and I had no idea who they were. It may have been a grandfather and his grandson. They could have been neighbors. I didn't know. But I remember thinking, well, that's pretty cool. It's just a gorgeous summer evening. Here's a couple of guys outside chucking a baseball back and forth, and they're probably enjoying this beautiful evening and enjoying this time to, spend together. And I thought, that's really cool. At this point, something hit me upside the head, kind of like a 2x4 to be honest. And it was, man, I feel so much better right now than I did about 2 minutes ago driving down this same section of street. And really the only difference is that I made a choice to try to find something to feel positive about. It wasn't complicated. It didn't require a bunch of extra energy. It was just redirecting, really. And it seemed like it was just as simple as, like, if you're looking over there, just turn your head and look over there. During all of this, it really sunk in that, I have a choice as far as what I look for. and also that whatever I choose to look for, I'm going to find typically. That's up to me. I'm the only one who can make that decision. Nobody else can do that for me. And so, as a reminder of all of that, I decided to start asking myself a question often, and that was, what are you looking for? And when I say often, I mean like every day, several times a day. I did this for years. And so here I am, 15 or 16 years, removed from that experience, still asking myself pretty regularly what I'm looking for. I really do believe that asking myself that question thousands and thousands of times over the years has contributed significantly to the rewiring of my brain. I tend to, by default, be pretty optimistic these days. I tend to, without having to give it much thought, be looking for reasons to feel gratitude and hope and just positive things, rather than looking for reasons to feel anxious and doom and gloom and resentful and upset. Not to say that I never do that, but that's not my default setting these days. That being said, I'm not ashamed to admit that I have concerns about this COVID-19 situation. I'm not embarrassed to acknowledge that I've experienced some anxiety recently related to the pandemic. I've had some trouble sleeping of late. I've been worried about some people that I care about, or people in general, you know. I've experienced some anger directed at folks who don't seem to be taking this situation very seriously, who are openly defying the governor's, stay home, stay safe order. And I've noticed that primarily occurs when I'm either consuming news or when I'm scrolling through social media. So I found it really helpful for me lately, up to and including today, to ask myself periodically, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? As a reminder, I have a choice. It's up to me, and I'm typically going to find whatever it is that I choose to look for. When I choose to look for reasons to be angry, upset, fearful, anxious, resentful, I find them. And then I feel anxious, resentful, etc. When I make a decision to look for reasons to feel hopeful and optimistic and safe and loved and cared for, I typically feel those things. And for me, it's really important to choose wisely, always, and particularly during times of extraordinary challenge like I find myself in currently. So thanks for watching. I want to leave you with an invitation to ponder your own response to the question, what are you looking for? How do you feel about that? What do you think about that? And how do you think that's affecting you? If you'd care to share some feedback to that question, you're welcome to do so in the comment section. If you need someone to listen or someone to talk to, I'm here for you. You can reach out by phone or text at 906-250-9912. And I just want to remind everyone that this too shall pass. Hang in there, be well, and stay safe.